memorial wall, names etched in steel, I remember them all. My brothers and sisters who fell at the creek, sacrifices echo when I try to sleep. I have been called, I must answer, always, for Super Earth. Duty beckons through the void, and I stand ready to deploy for Super Earth. For Super Earth.
Evening Freedom, autonomous, autocratic automaton annihilators. Tonight's special was Answer the Call by the immensely talented Endless Taverns, who has not only returned to help defend the creek, but also to grace our eardrums with yet another lovely audible treat. Not that his work within the Warhammer 40,000 fandom isn't impressive, I just never really gravitated to that. Besides, I am reasonably sure that given a fight between the two organizations, Helldivers would win. Chainswords and bolt guns are impressive, but with a few taps of my finger, I can ignite your entire postal code. I would propose instead an alien slaying contest rather than direct confrontation. Whoever bags the most defeated Xenos wins, but in this case, the enemies of democracy are going to be the real biggest losers here. My musings aside, the evening news. I can see two distinct automaton fleets working in Kingdom here at the very least. Garden variety automatons are pushing hard on Yulheim and Vandalon, keeping us from responding to the situations on Martale and Bekvam, which, exactly as predicted, that's the Incineration Corps trying to reconnect their supply lines, and it looks like they're gonna pull it off. The closest fight currently is on Vandalon, with the DSS in orbit, but we're likely going to lose all 4 of these fights barring a major miracle. Now, that might sound pretty bad, but this is the kind of counterattack that was entirely anticipated. You can't just style all over the bots, show them which finger is the longest, and wave your backside at them, and not expect them to get a little hot under the collar. There's no reason to fret, this is just a little volleyball at the net to keep things interesting. I said last night that this was only the beginning, and that applies to us too. Even so, once the Incineration Corps reconnects their supply lines and has a more direct access to the front lines, we are going to be some seriously unhappy patriotic bunnies. If you've got heavy-duty flame-resistant armor like the Salamander or something like that, now might be a good time to dust that off. We're gonna need it. However, there is some good news in all of this in the form of opportunity. And when I say opportunity, I of course mean Merc Divers. There is a new contract and bounty up relevant to the current major order, codenamed Operation Long Night of Solace. The details are that Anvil Industries have constructed a large immobile shipyard codenamed Solace in high geosync orbit over Malevolon Creek that constructs warships for a wide variety of clients and customers, most notably the Merc Divers themselves, and would find it very objectionable if it got blown to pieces. Understandable. The part where you all come in is that Anvil Industries is prepared to offer a 5 million super credit contract in exchange for Helldivers conducting defensive operations to keep the collective away from the creek. Evaluation criteria consists of completed missions no matter what difficulty or hazard level, so long as it's on the western bot front, a bonus for completed 3-mission operations, and an additional bonus if you dance a mean tango with Erwin Randall's Incineration Corps. An extra 1 million super credits will be rewarded, split between all participants based on contribution, should Malevolon Creek remain in Super Earth's possession once all of this blows over. I don't know about you Helldivers, but that just bought a whole heaping helping of motivation from me. A lower paying bounty has also been issued in the same vein, awarding an extra 7,500 super credits every time you rack up 1,500 automaton kills in a single mission split between all members of your team, which is still something of a tall order. I kill bots plenty good, but oftentimes, even at D10s, they just don't deploy the kinds of hostile resources we're talking about here. Still, if you and your pals can farm bot kills, the reward is there if you want it. There's also some debriefing here from the Cave-Filling Corporation in regards to the recently concluded Operation Darktide, and not only were they very pleased with the outcome, they were kind of impressed, and maybe a little scared. The end kill tally came in somewhere around 33,600 squids, 1,000 warp ships, and 100 brain scruntlers. though I presume this to be a rounded number. The top contributors are Lady Electo, aka Dragon Cat, at 2,700 supercreds, Erebus at second place at 9,200, and me working through my personal issues of grief and loss through proper spreading of democracy's light at 11,000. I have a lot of pent-up trauma. The CFC reported the harvesting of 1,500 kiloliters of dark fluid, which is now slated for research and development. That isn't quite the level of dark fluid required to properly implode a planet, but it does come pretty close. Even so, money changed paws, and I hope that my clients are happy with my work. I have every intention of setting records in the next contract, too. Retirement catnip doesn't pay for itself, you know. Now we move into further news from the business sphere with new stock market prices. There are only a few small movements in pricing, most likely caused by nervous investor sentiment due to the massive automaton invasion currently ongoing. You know how it is. So we're gonna need to rely on our skills at violence instead of spreadsheets if we want to keep putting food on the table. The Merc Divers PMC grew another pair of percentage points, continuing to be a worthwhile long-term investment complete with dividends. But the Cave Filling Corporation had a good week with a growth of 4%. Gunvault continues its long, slow recovery with steady stock gains at 3%, but strangely enough, the Tank Hunters suffered a loss of 3%, despite an overwhelming number of hostile metallic clients eager to receive their explosive wares at several hundred feet per second. The high-risk assets of Blackwall and venture companies showed absolutely no movement this week, which is somewhat surprising, but I have great patience when it comes to seeing a return on my capital investment. Future Foundations tripped right out of the gate and fell on its face with a loss of 3% in its first week of public trading, and that kind of thing has investors feeling nervous. Lastly, the besieged Anvil Industries reported a 2% increase to stock price, but its continued growth likely hinges upon its malevolent assets not being turned into a modern art project. In further news from the business sphere, Gunvault's referendum proceeds at a steady, peaceful pace, and they decided on a new flag on screen as we speak. I'm not gonna lie, I dig the halo, and this pays good homage to Gunvault's history coming from Super Poland back on the mother planet. I mean, looks pretty super to me. This week's topic of discussion within the referendum is the standard diplomatic approach that Gunvault will take in the future, with choices ranging from peaceful neutrality, armed neutrality, gunboat diplomacy, and diplomatic jingoism. I personally think that armed neutrality is the best approach. These things tend to require a delicate balance. Establish trade relations with your neighbors' enemies, and your enemies' neighbors. But maintain a strong enough military that you aren't seen as weak or an easy target. Don't open hostilities, but never be afraid to finish them definitively. Basically, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Now let's go do lunch. If you ask me, that stance sounds more than reasonable, and apparently the people agree with such a sentiment, with armed neutrality leading the vote by 53%. As for how the Wild Heart Party feels about this, well, we really don't have a stance. We know that we're guests within Gunvault's culture and community and feel honored to have a chance to make a home here. We're immigrants, but we do tend to get the job done, such as the recent liberation of Dolph. Yeah, that was us. We helped with that. We've already set up an array of asteroid catchers for those sweet, sweet, rare super-Earth metals falling out of the sky, but we're also prepared to scoot if the front lines at Yulheim buckle too much. Operating capital is important, but no amount of money is worth dying for. Besides, the Angelic Rebellion has already worked out a deal with Gunvault where they supply us with ordnance, and we turn around and use that ordnance to make sure the neighbors keep their dogs in their own yards, be they metallic or ministry. It's the kind of simple arrangement that just works out well for everybody. Lots of news tonight, huh? Bear with me, I'm almost done. Bringing up the Weekly Raven at the rear. Today, we're treated to the newly revamped 4-page layout. Fewer pages, but the information is more dense, so it's about the same experience. The top news this week revolves around Senior Field Commander Erwin Randall's Incineration Corps leading a massive assault on formerly occupied automaton territories. No, I have no idea if that really is the Incineration Corps commander's real name, but I think it's funny, so I'm gonna keep on using it. Knowing these humorless jokers is probably something like XJ9 or Unit 80085 or something. I know that the mainframe despises James Cameron, not because it thinks the Terminator movies are bad, but rather the exact opposite. It loves them, but it hates the fact that they were made by an organic, so Skynet is probably not high on this list of possible field commander names. That computer array has more issues than Super Reddit. But yes, this article centers around the ongoing threats to Vandalon IV and Popley 9, noting the danger to Tianquan, Super Earth's sole manufacturing planet for the EXO-44 Patriot exosuits. Seriously, bot boy, you mess with IMAX, you're gonna get one of my cute little feeties broken off in a USB port where the sun don't shine, get me? Page 2 recaps the recently passed major order with the success of the Penrose Energy Siphon stealing most of Meridia's dark energy. High Command has ordered the Helldivers to thwart continuing Illuminate dark energy harvesting efforts, but we can't really do that while keeping Hal 9000 from killing us all. So many enemies, so little time. The article goes on to say that Commander Ramol continues to make progress toward Malevelon Creek with the intent on capturing it before April 3rd, permanently steening Super Earth's pride. Yeah, that's not going to happen, Speak and Spell. You're walking into a whole universe of pain with a brand new spectrum of agony, like a rainbow. The Norse lore of the week revolves around the ancient dragon beneath the Tree of Life, Nidhogg, whose name means Curse Striker. Nidhogg is one of the largest creatures that live beneath the World Tree and constantly gnaws upon its roots, hurting the tree and the 9 realms themselves. Possibly even the 10th, the elusive Valheim, where my father's soul now dwells. He always said that he hoped heaven was like deer hunting in Valheim, and I sincerely hope that he feels that peace now. Like many other mystical beasts, Nidhogg plays a significant role in Ragnarok, completely destroying the Tree of Life along with all creation in the cosmos itself in an attempt to aid the giants at the end of all things. One has to wonder if the Automaton Collective is in some way a manifestation of Nidhogg, burning at the fabric of reality as they go and annihilating the cosmos in blind hate. Well, I never really believed in the end of all things. Times may change, but the spirit endures, and hard times never last. Next, we have a segment on Viking history and culture. Today's article revolves around Ragnar Lodbrok, possibly one of the most well-known Viking chieftains of his era. The article appears to be written in the style of the imminent April Fool's Day, oh sweet liberty. But I suppose that there is good reason for that. Many tales of Ragnar Lodbrok have become heavily embellished over time, applied to Chuck Norris during the early 21st century and now to General Brash in the modern day. Humorous though this may be, I'll be trying my best this week to bring some real history in regards to the man, just to satisfy the curiosity of the historians among us. And I rather dislike April Fool's Day. When I was younger, I had a bully that tormented me, and he mixed super glue into a bundle of catnip and placed it where he knew that I would find it, and I ended up getting my paws glued to my face for the rest of the day. That was very mean. Anyway, that's been the Weekly Raven for yet another week, dear listeners. As usual, I'd like to thank Mugen, Hilmar, Oracle, Snarlo, Venom, Jovial, Silas, Hellfire, and Isgarden for their fine work, as well as extend a personal commendation to little Bella here. She seems to have the right idea and a good head on her shoulders. That's been Liberty's Latest with me, Pandera the Radio Angel, and wow, that was a lot this week, but Mondays usually are. Still, I love my work, and this is the kind of large task that I often end up looking forward to. Much like scrapping the Incineration Corps into the overhyped literal toasters they are. It's gonna be a tough battle, but you know what they always say. Victory was never in doubt. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for the Angelic Rebellion. Viva la Revolution Angelique.